chat room. Glad you all could join me for this beautiful autumn evening here at the Lakewood Cemetery. Hope you can hear me all right, despite being kind of far away. So it is the third time that I've streamed from here, because it's easily one of my favorite places in the city, especially this time of year. As you can see with the colors all around us, it is particularly beautiful at the moment. And you can see coming up on the left there is the mausoleum. People are cremated, they go there. More of a like modernist style of building that way. And I managed to get here a lot earlier than I usually do. In past streams I'll be kind of rushing to get stuff done before the place closes, but I got a lot of hours left. It closes at 7. And the quality of the camera will be a little bit better shortly because it's on the front-facing camera at the moment. So it's going to be a little bit weird, saturated in strange ways. What else? It is another year visiting this place. How you'd introduce yourselves. But stream, chat, stream, however that works. They close down the pool because it gets cold very quick, and apparently it's supposed to maybe snow. There is the Lakewood Chapel, which is an incredible place. It is a historically protected place, actually. And just checking the stream quality. Yeah, it is kind of dipping up and down for data. I guess that is something else I should point out, is that for anyone who hasn't watched an IRL stream before, you know that half of it tends to be technical issues, as it usually goes. Usually I don't have that many issues. I have a very minimal setup, so there isn't like a whole lot of potential for things to go wrong, but the signal may cut in and out. The strength of my data may vary depending on where I'm standing. I am kind of in a little bit of a ditch currently. So signal's going to be a little bit weird. Luckily, I can actually watch the bitrate actively. Am I able to record locally on my phone at the same time? I don't think the phone's powerful enough for that. And this sort of like natural environment is kind of an unusual place to, or I guess I'd say a difficult place to record video, because it's like bitrate's worst nightmare, because if there's a lot of visual noise and just a lot of high contrast from pixel to pixel, and you have unpredictable movement, the video compression has a hard time smoothing all of that out. So it'll look pretty blurry. But I have some nice equipment here, and I have a gimbal which should smooth things out. And I'm hoping, because I'm here fairly early-ish, let's see, I have like 4 hours here. As the sun goes down towards the end of the stream, I have equipment to connect you guys to my bike. And we may do a full lap around one of the big lakes here, and we can watch the sunset together. Because that's always kind of a tradition on these streams, is that by the time this place closes, the sun's going down, and it just so happens to be that I'm in an area that looks really nice when the sun sets. It's an added bonus. So before I start walking around, just gonna recycle some commentary from the last few times that I've streamed here. So this is Lakewood Cemetery. Might get the years a little bit off. I believe it was founded in 1891, something around that time. And for any non-American friends watching right now, something you gotta understand about America is that we're a relatively new country compared to the rest of the world. And so the country is only, 250 something years old. So when something is built in the 1800s, that's pretty old by America standards. So this place is old. And what was interesting kind of story about why this whole place was made the way it is that it was back when Minneapolis, the city, was founded, which would have been, it's also like 1870 something, 1880, something like that. And they're establishing the park systems and just places around the city, trying to figure out, like, as we expand the city further, what sort of areas are we going to preserve. And immediately they found this spot because it's located around several big lakes. For people that don't know, that the Minne in Minnesota, Minneapolis, is a Sioux Native American word for water. So this place is known for having a lot of water, particularly the Mississippi River. That it doesn't start here, but it's one of the northernmost parts of the river. And we have just lots and lots of lakes, because my state is known as the land of 10,000 lakes. So anyway, when they're planning Minneapolis and they came over to this area, they saw this really beautiful region between several lakes, and they were like, we need to reserve this spot and make sure that it doesn't turn into urban sprawl. So immediately they cordoned off this whole area, which is just like 250 something acres. And all the paths that wind around it are a total of around like 9 miles worth of paths, which in kilometers is like 12 kilometers, I think. And then they're trying to figure out, what are we going to do with this spot? And they eventually decided that they're going to turn it into a cemetery. But it wasn't just going to be a utility place to just bury people when they pass away. They wanted it to be a destination kind of place. It's like a place where a lot of events happen. It's more than just places to memorialize people and your family, friends, and all that to pass away. It's a place to hang out in, respectfully. And there's a lot of events that happen here. There's a lot of history, because this place is so old. Many of the founding members of the city were buried here. And some particularly important people in Minnesota's history are here. And anyone that lives here will know the names Washburn, Lowry, and Loring. Those are people that helped establish all of the park systems, a lot of the education systems, and just kind of established many of the things that make Minneapolis as successful as a city as it is. And also the founder of Pillsbury is here, which is one of America's largest baked goods providers. And they own lots of other companies now, including General Mills, which General Mills makes like Cheerios, just about every cereal that nearly every American has consumed at some point, and probably a lot of people internationally as well. So the founder of Pillsbury is buried here. And the founder of Mars Candy Company. And the M&Ms, Mars created just about all of the most famous candies as well. M&Ms, Snickers, Milky Way, Three Musketeers, Twix. That's all here as well. I mean, the guy that founded the company is buried here. And I believe he has the largest mausoleum in the entire cemetery is his, and it is this like massive Greek revival. It looks like kind of like a temple to like Athena or something like that. It's pretty big. Gonna check that one out for sure. And right over very, very slowly, right over here to your left. Things are mirrored right now, so it's a little confusing. But so, like I said, this is the main mausoleum of the place, so people that are cremated are put in here. I'm not going to go in there because it will immediately kill my data signal because it's all like granite. It's a cool place, but legendary musician named Tiny Tim was cremated here, and I was trying to figure out. He doesn't really have a Minnesota connection. Oh, you can hear bells chiming. That's nice. Because he was, yeah, he didn't really have a Minnesota connection that I could figure out, because he was like born in New York, and then eventually I learned that his final performance was in Minneapolis, the one where he would eventually pass away, and I guess they just decided that they would keep his remains here. So his final performance was here, and here he still remains. And for those of you that don't know who Tiny Tim is, he's kind of most popular in like the 60s and 70s, and I think modern day people may know him by his music is in SpongeBob. One of his most famous songs is Living in the Sunlight, which is I can't possibly sing in his tone of voice. He's known for having a really high singing voice, like a falsetto, and he has like intense vibrato, and he plays a ukulele. But it's that song that goes like, living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time. And also Tiptoe Through the Tulips. It's a song that goes like da 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 da. But his voice is so vibrato that when he sings, it's like I can't even do it. It's embarrassing when he does like living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, something like that. Shall be no silliness on this stream. But just Google search Tiny Tim and you'll see his music. You'll definitely recognize it, especially for SpongeBob. You thought this would be a secret bare bones theater stream. That actually does not start until end of this week. On the 28th is when I will be doing that show, and it's like 6 p.m. Central. Yeah, YTM&D got a lot of mileage out of that song for sure. What else? Let's see. Maybe I should actually walk around. Oh, and like my forehead is unusually red because I think my bike helmet was a bit tight. I think it might have rubbed on my forehead. Ugh. Man, that disappointing moment when you like see yourself in a mirror, like, oh geez, what happened? Okay. So, can I walk around? I have a map. Here is the map. As you can see, this place is gigantic. Like I said, it has about 9 miles of roads. I'm going to try to take the historic path, meaning that we will go through some of the most significant places. And the temperature, because like I wish I could transmit the way it feels here right now. Just the cool, breezy air. It's just like so dry, and it just smells earthy. And airplanes going over because the airport is kind of close to here. But it's about 55 to 60 degrees, which in the rest of the world temps is like 16 Celsius, something like that. Anyway, if I were the last person on Earth, would you stay where you are, as in like right here? Oh yeah, where you are? Probably not. If we're talking last person on Earth, zombie apocalypse kind of stuff, I would not stop moving. I would be on the road all the time. That's a whole other story. And I should say too is that the you know, visit. And I need to point out that if anybody from the Lakewood staff somehow sees this video, by the way, it's 3:33 my time right now. 3:33. I whistle a tune every time it's 3:33, and it goes from major key when it's in the day, and then at night I have a minor key version. So it's the afternoon witching hour. Doesn't matter. Anyway, if the Lakewood staff sees this, I read all the rules of etiquette and stuff on the website, and it said photography and recording a video and all that is totally cool as long as it's for personal use. I'm making no money out of any video or anything here, and that they don't want you riding bikes through the cemetery. So my bike is locked up far away, and I'm just gonna walk around. Anyway, 20 minutes into the stream, which is actually a short intro by my standards. And if the audio suddenly cuts out, there's a chance that I'm talking to someone, and I'll mute it. Because if they don't know that I'm streaming, I don't want to record them without them knowing. So there's a chance that happens. But if it stays muted for a long time, and I'm moving around, I maybe accidentally muted it or something. So, just so you know. Alright. Okay, so this is going to be the better quality camera. And if the wind really picks up, I have a microphone with a wind screen that I can put on there as well. That will dampen it, but it doesn't seem too windy right now. Okay. And if we want to get real crazy, I have a whole bunch of lenses that I can use for like wide angle and stuff. So eventually, I may put you guys on a selfie stick to test it out. Let's see how well this works out. So this should be very smooth as I move around. It's still going to be 30 FPS, but it will be gimbaled. Yeah, there was talking about a high-pitched sound. I think the internal microphone of this phone, there's two of them, might be something up with it. Does it sound like kind of an analog? And unfortunately, when it's really frustrating. Here, I wonder if this will help. Yeah, it might just be sound echoing through, so let's see how it goes for a little while here. Expert on trees. Well, interesting. What kinds of trees these are that are just so like vibrant and beautiful right now. Okay, yeah, thanks for letting me know about that sound. Something I could do is if I switch to the switch to the windscreen microphone, then it would be further away from the motors and you wouldn't hear it. But then you wouldn't get this stereo microphone sound. There are actually a lot of people here. There are at least more than 12 pixels on the screen right now. Reading the latest Sutter Kane is definitely a mood. Nice. Hi. Right. I know, yeah, it's just like every couple minutes it gets really vibrant and you gotta like wait a little bit and it comes back and it's just it's absolutely gorgeous when it gets up from behind the clouds. Yeah. All right. So here's the Lakewood Chapel, which I believe was constructed in 1901 and is definitely influenced from the Hagia Sophia in its design, which I think historically that was very significant because it was kind of a hybrid design between Christian and Muslim architecture. One of like, I think the only examples in the world of that happening historically. And you can actually go inside, but of course the one day they decide to come out here is the day that it is closed. I have been inside before and it's incredible. And something very notable about it is that it is it's completely covered in mosaic tiles in the interior. And the group that created the mosaic is the same group that did it for the Vatican. Like internationally famous artists that put it together. Oh, hey, Primary Denizen. Yeah. I've done a lot of IRL streams in the past. I really want to do more. I mean, in life in general, I always want to be doing more. Glad you could make it. And when I got to view the interior of the place, it was when I was here with an ex of mine, and they had all of it open. And what was particularly interesting is that they really let you just walk anywhere inside. So we just kept going further and further downstairs. And eventually we got into a room that just wasn't lit up at all. It was like totally dark. And we were like, this room is so cold. What is this place? And I noticed the walls were made of metal. And they had lots of big chambers and handles. And they were like big metal tables scattered around. And we're like, wait a minute. And I realized that we are in the crematorium, like where all the bodies and stuff are stored before they're cremated. And very eerie feeling, especially since it wasn't lit up at all. We were just kind of like, suddenly like your eyes got more focused to the darkness and you're like, whoa, we're like in a body freezer. But the doors were open. Apparently it was okay for us to go. I think it's closed on Sundays. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, other days of the week it's open. Yeah. Yeah, everybody wants to view it. It is like the staple of this place. I gotta watch out for all this traffic. All right. You guys are gonna get some Minnesotan cultural experience. You get to hear actual regional dialects of me talking to people. All right. Well, immediately. Oh, and I was saying earlier too is they're totally cool with people walking around and filming all of these headstones and such. And they're huge. So right now, here's one of the famous ones. Actually, I don't know whose this is, but this one over here is Hubert Humphrey, who was a senator and eventually was a vice president of the US for a while. And completely unrelated, there's a blue jay. Oh, never mind, not going to be able to capture it. So you'll see a lot of different types of memorial markers. There's these that are all along the ground. And then you have, you know, the larger above ground ones. Vibrant it is over here. God, just look at the designs of these. They're so elaborate. Hard to get like a sense of scale. And every time I'm here, I gotta pass by this particular one. Shoot. But yeah, get a load of this. It's like a really ornate design. And like I said, this place was built in like 1880 something. So a lot of these have been here for over 100 years. Yeah, it is coming in good. I'm so glad that I decided to wait a little bit later than usual. Usually when I come out here, it would have been like 5 days ago or so. But we had an unusually late leaf changing season. So waited a few days and now it's like just the right balance. So I also wanted to catch the really vibrant red trees that are here. I don't know if we have any tree experts that know what type they might be. They're very thin and all the branches like sharply angle upwards. and they get really, really bright red. Interesting thing about the cemetery too is that it's actually non-denominational. So we have just about every faith you can imagine. Look at this glass encased statue. It's because it's like, I'm guessing it's airtight. So it's still really white, just because statues and stuff like this tend to really succumb to the weather over time. What are the vases for? It's usually just for flower memorials. Because this place has one of the largest greenhouses for flowers for cemeteries in the country, and they kind of promote the idea of that you use their flowers. The flowers are grown here. They can be placed at markers, headstones and stuff here, and then the flowers wilt away here as well. So they're all like kind of in their own contained system, and it's a really diverse types that they have. I really doubt that's going to be open. I'll walk by the greenhouse because it's huge. It's another really nice one. You thought the stone said death. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention too, I have 2 relatives who are buried here. And I always tell the story on stream because it's a little sad, but there are 2 people that I never met, and one of them was a great-grandfather who passed away fairly early. And actually, he's the main one that I get my Polish heritage from. When he originally immigrated here, his last name was so long that they changed it and shortened it down to just like 4 or 5 letters. And there's like a famous picture in the family of him standing in front of his original name in printed out letters on a wall when it was his birthday. The name had to have been like 18 to 20 characters long. But anyway, yeah, he natively spoke Polish, I believe, and unfortunately the language was never passed down into my relatives. So he's here. And then the other one is an uncle, I guess technically it would be, is, let's see, how did the story go? I think it was, sorry, I'm just trying to get the, ooh, this one looks really nice in the shot. And the other one, kind of unfortunate story, is that he passed away very young. I think he was 30 something. And he actually committed suicide. And it was tragic because it's like my grandfather, you know, his father. Even though his grandfather is a very intelligent man who was involved in the invention of several types of engines that were used in World War II. And he had all kinds of patents and stuff in his name, but he was not a very nice father. And one day, because he's also really into like restoring classic cars and things like that, so one day the relative in mention was driving one of these expensive cars, and he accidentally crashed it. And rather than having to face his father with what he had done to the car, he decided to take his own life, sadly. And most of us never met him because he was the oldest of that generation at the time. But he's here as well. And interesting thing is that when I was here with an ex, like 7 years ago, we went and found his grave, and we were the only ones to visit it. What had to have been like 20 or more years. It was completely overgrown with grass, like we couldn't find it because it was just covered in grass and weeds and stuff like that. So I like pushed all that away, wiped the dirt off of it. It's like, well, I never met you, but I guess we're family. And same goes for the great-grandfather that I never met either. But yeah, this place has hundreds of thousands of people are buried here. And just as we walk around, you can see how. And you know, I don't believe in souls or ghosts or anything like that, but it feels weird to think that, you know, I'm here among hundreds of thousands of people's final resting places. Like if ghosts and things are real, I would definitely feel something here just because of the sheer quantity. Now, bit of a detour. There are some locals that live here, and you can check them out. The reason why some of the gravestones are much larger than others, oh, it's just if you have a lot of money, you can have one made for you, customized. It's a very, very expensive thing. I think the cheapest that you can get here is like $1,000, and then some of them go up to like tens of thousands to even like 100,000. So these are local turkeys. Every time I've been here, they always show up. Yeah, it's not quite November yet, so they're feeling pretty good. Yeah, I don't know if it's more of an American thing or what, but we have a lot of wild turkeys here. Oh man, they're getting really close to me. I think they're very used to people. Look at this one over here. Alright, I'm going to try to get a little bit back on track. It's the thing is, like, even though I have like 4 hours here, you just don't have enough time to see everything. Jeez, I'm just looking at the years of a lot of these. 1946, 1930, 1890. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of geese that flew over here a bit ago. Luckily, I don't think geese really hang out here. There's a big pond that we're gonna see. Oh, this is a cool one. This gimbal works by rapid clicks. So you're gonna hear me clicking. You're hanging out with friends in a forest and cornfields last night. Nice. Despite the state being known for, well, this part of the country being known for farmland, there really aren't any cornfields very close to here. Otherwise, that could be do a get lost in the cornfield stream. Okay, I'm gonna check the map. Oh yeah, check out how red these trees are. So you guys can look at this while I look at the map to figure out where I wish to go. Jeez. Looks like I'm gonna have to get the battery plugged in the stuff pretty early here. No mazes. Yeah, it's a lot of people kind of take it for granted that like a lot of work goes into maintaining cemeteries. Like this one here, so much time and money and effort is spent keeping this place looking good. And then in a lot of places just kind of get forgotten. They're just like left. And they get overgrown and then people just forget they're even there. Didn't know I was doing IRL streams? Yeah. I talk about the streams on my Discord and Twitter and Blue Sky. On the 28th, I'm going to be doing the new stream in the big Halloween show at around 6 Central, if I want to check that out. Okay, I think I got the battery plugged in. Okay, I got some like power core batteries that I didn't take with. Those are like really high capacity, like fast charging. But I decided to take the smaller one. Oh hey, we got some turkeys following me. This is what I'm looking at right now. Okay, I think I know where I'm gonna go now. Red maples and wild turkeys, what do you miss about Minnesota? Nice. I usually don't see turkeys this often, but this place, these just like live here. Like I think they've probably been here their entire lives. Yeah, I absolutely love the seasonal changes. That's like one of my favorite parts about living in this state is like we get some of everything. We get extreme winters, we get extreme summers, we get seasonal changes, we get really high temperatures, low temperatures, we get tornadoes, we get floods, we get blizzards. The only thing we don't get are hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. Okay, the very first person to have been buried here, her grave marker is here. I'm trying to figure out where exactly. Gonna pass by a scavery and also more turkeys. Can't get a load of this guy. Okay, where is it? Turkeys are trying to cross the road and there's a car stopped waiting. is she? Yeah, why did the turkey cross the road? That's a good question. And I bet you not even the turkey itself knows why it crossed the road. This is a really interesting marker here. Let's see. The sun's hitting it just right. Looks particularly nice. A lot of moss growing on this one. I wonder why some of the stone used here like attracts different plants. Like as you can see, this one, there's a lot of moss growth on it. Get a really close-up shot. Nice. This makes me wonder, why is this one, this type of stone, more vulnerable to this kind of thing, and the other ones are just completely clean. Okay, we're gonna go back to finding Maggie. Let me check the map again. 100,000 people here. It's tricky to find. Oh, there's Sunrose. This is in Minneapolis. It's near Lake of the Isles. Kind of in southwestern Minneapolis. It's huge, you can't miss it. Yeah, there's 8 miles of roads that go through this place. 9 miles, which is like 12 kilometers. Sorry, but it's all twisted around, so it's not like a straight line. Okay, where is this again? Oh, I'm not even in the right area. Don't think you've been to this one? Yeah, most people have either been to the Pioneer Cemetery, or the even bigger one is like the military one by the airport, which I think that is the biggest. That's where all soldiers and stuff are buried. That one is colossal, but it's mostly flat and it's very uniform in a militaristic style. I like this one because it's very free form and hilly, and you just don't really know what you're gonna find next. Oh, okay. Now I think I know where we are. And I mention this every time I'm here, but because we're here in the fall or autumn, and there's crunchy leaves everywhere, that it constantly feels like you're being followed. So you just hear random crunching leaves, and then you look back and there's nothing there. No squirrels, no turkeys, no people. But you just continually hear crunching leaves. It's kind of unsettling yet comforting in a way, I guess. Hello, Vlad, welcome. God, I really wish I could change the white balance or exposure or whatever. It's stuck on auto. Hey, Hobo Noah. Just spent 14 hours rigging a character. Nice. Once you do it once, it starts to make sense again. I know rigging is usually one of the things that people new to 3D modeling fear the most. I've gotten pretty comfortable with it. I've been working with like shape keys, vertex groups, and like all kinds of shaders that make that process a little easier. Look at this parallax. Oh, you're rigging a 2D character, okay. Oh, look at this statue. This is good thumbnail material. Yeah, custom statues like this are very, very expensive. These all come from a different time. I think it's pretty rare these days for people to put this much money. It doesn't say what year this person was put here. Let me check. Oh, hey. Look who we found. I didn't even intend to find this. Let me see if I can get the camera down. Here she is. This is Maggie Menzel, who was the very first person buried at this cemetery. She was 19 years old, put here 1872. Don't know what caused her to pass away at only 19 years, and not much is known about her family, about her history, or anything. She just kind of showed up, and they buried her here, and the entire place was built around her. I think this one is very well maintained because it's very historically significant. It's pretty short. Let's see. It's weird, it's like a really soft material. It's still stone, but it's like very warm. Yeah, let's get a really close-up shot of the really porous. Yeah, I'm actually 10 feet tall. Looks like marble. Yeah, I guess it's just kind of the treatment of it can make it appear different. Okay, that's cool. I've never actually seen that one in person. Yes, we are near a lake. This is a big part of why this cemetery was put here. Like I said in the beginning, when Minneapolis was first being founded and they were deciding what goes where, immediately they came out here, saw this intersection between multiple lakes, and they were like, we need to save this spot. Stop it from being built over from just the the regular urban sprawl. They eventually decided to fence it off and turn it into the cemetery that it is now. And it's because it is just a beautiful spot. And I'm hoping in an hour or two to attach you guys to my bike, and we'll bike along the lake as the sun goes down. You can enjoy an autumn evening together on the lake. Well, not on it, but around it. Also, I wanted to test this feature just for my own sake. So this isn't for you, chat, it's for me. Is that this gimbal is capable of locking in angles so that it will never turn away from a certain direction. So like right now, like I'm moving, you can't tell. Whoop. Okay, maybe you can tell a little bit. Also, my tripod is very cheap and creaky. I've had it for like 12 years. Okay. So I have to manually tell it to go up and down. It's locked to left and right. But I can lock it of all angles. So if I do this, so now I'm turning in circles and it will refuse to face any other direction. So as a result, I can do this. Okay, I'm gonna try. So I can just haphazardly spin this around and it will always look in that direction. It's more interesting if you're here to see that I'm just like throwing things around all over the place and it remains stable. Fancy camera work? No. The gimbal does it all. Okay, there is a special obelisk here. Oops, I gotta take it out of that mode. Hey Komatsu Kyoto, you like my cemetery live streams? Well, thank you. This is like the third one I've done. Okay, I think this is good. So obelisks. I think everyone has a special obelisk in their life, one that you seek out. And let's see if I can find this one. Oh, I found it already. Okay, it's going to take a bit to get over there. You can get this view as we go by. Yeah, I have the graphics on Ultra. Just got a beta testing a 5090. So this one, sorry, getting the legs down. Yeah, Unreal Engine 6. Let's get a look at this guy. How tall this is. I'll go stand by it. So this is the reason this one is significant is that it is it's the tribute to one of the biggest, this is going to suddenly get sad, sorry, but we're in a place of death. Tribute to one of the worst accidents, manufacturing accidents in Minneapolis' history. This is to the A-mill flour explosion. And this event, the reason it's kind of significant to me is because when I first moved to Minneapolis, that I moved very close to the mill district here. Because what's important to the history of the city is that flour milling is the industry that allowed it to exist and thrive. And for a while, Minneapolis was the flour milling capital of the United States because it's positioned very far north on the Mississippi River, allowing it to for easy transport all the way down to Mexico. So in all the states along the way, because it flows from north to south. So prime real estate. And like I was saying earlier, Minneapolis is home of Pillsbury and General Mills, the largest bakery companies in the US, potentially even the world. If you ever had Cheerios, Cocoa Puffs, anything like that, they were originally made here. But anyway, the milling accident was that, so flour milling became a huge industry here. Things were getting kind of out of control. Mills are popping up everywhere. The mills are huge. And they're using the latest technology. Keep in mind, this is like mid 1800s, mid to late. And a very unfortunate thing was discovered during this boom, pun intended, boom of flour milling industry, is that flour is really, really flammable because it's super dry, very fine particles. And there was a night when, thankfully, it was a late shift and most of the workers weren't there, but something sparked an explosion and it killed, I believe, 18 workers that were there. But the explosion was so massive that it's still, to this day, the largest recorded explosion in Minnesota history. It leveled an entire city block of like 6 different structures, just completely leveled to the ground. And there's famous black and white photos of it where it's you just see rubble, like nothing else. Like you would never guess that there were buildings there previously. And that accident caused a huge overhaul to milling practices around the country, because they're learning that, you know, the finer that we start milling this flour, the more flammable it gets. And that's when like laws about ventilation systems and regulations regarding like you can't allow flour to just be accumulating in the air. And I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but so if it wasn't for this incident, the one that is memorialized here by this obelisk in front of us, which by the way is a millstone, that circle there is kind of a stone structure that they use to mill it, and there's a chunk missing from the stone to show that it's, you know, a tragic part of its history. So because of the result of that accident, I'm sure probably hundreds, thousands of lives are probably saved in the future, now that we're aware that that's a big problem. But an interesting thing about all this too is that they built a museum that's called the Mill City Museum, and I visited it a few years ago, and it was one of the coolest museums I've ever been to, because it was so creative in the way that they designed it. So the museum was built on the site of where this accident happened, and they recreate the explosion in a scale model. So you can actually watch them pump flour into a chamber, and then they ignite it. And you can see that even this tiny little scale model, it is still a huge explosion. Like you would never guess that flour was as destructive as it is. And then the whole museum is designed like a grain silo, so it's vertical. So when you go through the history of milling in Minneapolis, you start at the bottom and you get on a giant elevator, and you're seated in a room, and the elevator elevates, believe it or not, goes up the building, and then you can each layer, each floor you stop on, and it has all these like videos and images and things around you showing like as structures were built and what technology was developed and all that. And then you end the tour at the roof of a grain silo, which are very, very tall. So you get this like beautiful view of Minneapolis once you end the tour. And I got a picture of me up there, and it's and you get a view of the Stone Arch Bridge, which is like my favorite bridge. It's one where I learned to bike downtown there. Really, that bridge is kind of like a symbol of my independence. Because when I got my first full-time job, moved to Minneapolis, and I crossed that bridge just over and over again, probably hundreds of times at this point, part of my regular commute. Got me comfortable biking, got me going, and just the city life. And that bridge is also important for part of the history as well of the city. It's not here, the bridge is pretty far away from here, but I just noticed this is a pretty cool view. Is Minneapolis short for Minneapolis? Believe it or not, no. Even though one of the nicknames of the city is, what is it? The Little Apple, opposed to the Big Apple that is New York. Minneapolis is like the Little Apple. I was talking about earlier that Minne, M-I-N-N-E, is a Sioux Native American word for water. And you can see why, because the city has has the Mississippi River and lots of lakes in the area. Then Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes. Just tons and tons of bodies of water speckled all over the place. Forgot I can digital zoom. The most terrible thing about this app that I'm using, here, it's going to be a fuzzy zoom, but you can see what I'm looking at. Terrible thing about this app is that when you double tap the screen, it flips the camera to the rear facing camera. So if I'm just trying to zoom and I'm making like a really ugly face, which is like, it's hard to tell in my situation, but you know, like squinting, trying to get the zoom going on, and then I accidentally double tap, and then boom, my face is in your face, like Vin Diesel once said. So here, I'll manually do it, but this time it won't be as much of a jump scare. So if I like double tap, you get a sudden jump scare. It's like scary. Oh man, my lips are dry. I'm talking too much. Okay, now I gotta get... But since I'm here right now, this is a chance to test this. Let's go back to the obelisk a second, because I have some lenses. The security guy just drove by. Among Us. To sound like the youths. Oh, I forgot. I should go and look at the actual wording on the tribute here. Here are the names of the workers that passed away. It's a little hard to see. And then, see if we can get just the right angle. There we go. This is erected 1885 by the Minnesota Head Millers Association in memory of those who lost their lives in the Great Mill Explosion of May 2nd, 1878. Now what do we have over here? There's more of the workers. Look at that reflection. Polished granite. And then it's just flat over here. Look at that tree. Very orange. And now I'm over here. I'll do the thing with the lenses in a second, but now I'm here. See this very peculiar looking gravestone made entirely of metal. Look at that sheen. Wu-Tang Clan, not quite, but I could be wrong. I believe this is the marker for the founder of the Perpich School of Fine Arts. So it's a founder of an alternative high school that actually one of my exes attended, which is what kind of learned a lot about the school, where for your junior and senior year of high school, you could have gone to an art-intensive school. It was also art and design. So you could spend the end of high school, instead of doing your average public school stuff, you could go to a place where you're just surrounded by creative people of all sorts. They had like music programs, they had design, graphic design, they had fine arts and theater and all kinds of stuff. So it's only fitting that the founder of School of the Arts has a grave marker that definitely stands out among all of the other marble ones. Metallic. You're looking up images of the museum, forgot the open ruins. Actually, there's a common misconception is that the building that's there now is not the result of the explosion. It was a fire that happened decades later where they finally shut it down. It's kind of a cursed site. So but it kind of serves as a reminder of its past, because when you go and look at the place how it stands now, is that it is just a shell of a stone building, and they built the museum inside of it. Because the original building from the explosion was completely gone. Like, it was just rubble when that happened. So there wouldn't have been remains like that. Look at this. I don't know if the person whose marker this is, if this was like an intended pun, if their name Sit, and then they have like a bench. You should visit your mom's grave again. I don't know what cemeteries kind of scare me. See, that's an interesting subject I think a lot about, is, you know, in Western European culture, that death and grieving is seen as like a very scary thing, because, like, you know, we all fear death one way or another, and when relatives and stuff pass away, oftentimes we kind of, like, you know, get it all done with and out the door, get them buried, have a funeral, and then you're done. Whereas a lot of other cultures, they regularly celebrate the dead, like with Dia de los Muertos, where you spend like a whole day just celebrating all the people who are no longer with us. It's like a very different feeling towards it all. So I think it's just instilled in European culture to just be afraid of the dead. But oh yeah, there is a dog over here. I mean, a grave marker that looks like one. Oops. Used to live next to a cemetery and power plant. Electric Ghosts. It's a good name for a band. Felt like a zombie that day. 3 days of no food and water. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Definitely not an easy part of life. And, you know, as I'm in my mid-30s, getting older, you know, my parents aren't getting any younger, so it's something that I think about all the time. But let's see what this one's about. Oh, there's actually two of them here. It says, "Follow me down the path. I will walk beside you, guiding, and show you the way. I will not leave you. I will be with you, standing on the path, watching you. If you ever feel alone, close your eyes. You will see 6 sets of footprints, 2 belonging to you, 4 belonging to me, and then you will know that I have never left you." Damn. That's really good. So like I was saying, this is like a very, it's non-denominational cemetery, and I believe this marker here is representative of the early Chinese American immigrants that came to Minnesota. Look at how reflective this is. Oh my God. It's like an illusion. Yeah, it is shaped kind of like a piano. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, it's almost 5. This place closes at 7. Huh. Someone left 2 stones here. Wonder what it means. Trying to think where I'll keep walking. I'll mess with the lenses in a bit because I'm gonna have to plug in the streaming phone. Look at this shadow. Oh, we gotta see the main entrance statue. Oh, we didn't see the Mars Mausoleum. I'll check the map once we look at this place. Is that the mausoleum is a sight to behold? It's so big. I'm also hoping that my bike is still there. Some very nice colors right here. I don't think I'll be able to go inside the mausoleum. It's like usually it's fenced off. Wow, look at this. Yeah, winter isn't for everyone. I've learned to really appreciate it, despite it being very cold. It goes all the way up. Hey. It's like an old prop plane just flew by. This one's right by the main entrance. I'll show you scale from the back so I don't look like a doof where all the cars are going by, standing in front of it being like, hey guys. I'm just here hashtag chilling at the hashtag cemetery. Okay. Stuff hanging from me. Okay, let's see if I can switch the battery power over to phone. Okay, I think I mentioned it on stream before, but I've been calling, or well, not calling, but like emailing around places to see what cool local spots allow people to video. I usually won't specify stream from. I'll just say, like, is it okay to record video? Because there's a lot of bad connotations associated with streaming, unfortunately, because of people behaving badly. And yeah, there's one place where there's a, what is the name? It is the Walker Art Institute, which is a really cool place. And they're always trying to get people to go there, especially younger generations, where like art institutions aren't as popular as they once were. And yeah, I emailed just saying, like, is it okay if I record video here? It will be live video. And I said, I'm not going to be talking loudly. I'm just here to share some of my favorite places in the city with a small audience and stuff. And then they emailed back and were just like, we don't want streamers here. And I was just like, okay. I'm sure they probably saw a video online of someone being insufferable while streaming, or maybe they had an incident, I don't know. Because I can't blame them. Oh, yeah, Skelekorg, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that's written on these stones it's heartbreaking to read. Especially when it's, just someone's, like, dad. Oops. And, like, you don't know these people. You don't know the significance of this person in people's lives. And then when you just get a little snippet of, like, a piece of their life, it just, like, really humanizes them. Like, it's so hard to believe that just how many collective years of life everyone here who's memorialized here has experienced. And all most of us will ever know is their name, when they were born, and when they died. Colors are getting even brighter now that the sun's starting to set. Okay, I'm gonna check where. Okay, I'm just thinking out loud because I want to bike around. Not here, but in the nearby lake, because that's something I haven't done yet. But sun is about, I don't know, 30 degrees left until it reaches the horizon. I kind of want to see these other mausoleums. Okay, how far away are they? It's a really cool one that's called Elk's Rest from a fraternal lodge. It's a uh, life-sized elk that's up on a hill, and it's huge. It's really detailed. Okay, where's that? Oh, that's right where we just were. Shoot. Yeah, similar feeling when you see people driving by in cars. Like, I'm not completely sold on the concept that every person you see in life has lived a complete life, well, up to this point, and has family and experiences and memories. It's like, how big are the hard drives of this simulation to support that much data? Like, how is that possible? Okay, and the other one is the... Where is it? Oh, the Lowry Goodrich Mausoleum, 39. Oh, man. These are all on the complete opposite side of the place. Gonna make a decision and say that I want to catch the sunset, because this will be a more unique experience instead of going and viewing the other two really cool places, because I know it's going to take longer than I think it will to get everything set up. So okay, I'm gonna head back to my bike, and plus the battery on the streaming phone is running very low. I can plug it in, but when it's in the gimbal like this, that makes it difficult. See, I'm using actual navigation skills currently, because the sun is setting in the west, and the entrance to this place is in the north. And so the sun is at my left right now, and I am going forward. So that should bring me back. Yeah. You know, it's a rule at every monotonous stream I have to bring up dating and stuff like that at least once, but I think dating apps are proof that there's no nice way to say it, that a lot of people are very, very similar to one another. Like, when I'm scrolling through apps, it's just like, I don't know, it's just like the same copy-paste person over and over and over. It's like, please, just express some kind of personality, please. Someone. Like, do you like reading books? Like, do you like, I don't know, drawing? Something. Hello there, Mr. Munch. Can't believe it's only been 2 hours out here. Yeah, when you stream like this in real life, time goes very slow. Chilly out. It's like perfect for me right now. It's around like 55 to 60, which is around like 16 Celsius. Love this temp. Yeah, on dating sites, everyone just loves to travel and hang out with their friends. That's their entirety of their life. Oh yeah, here's the top part of the mausoleum. The main, the really big one. Let me see, get a better view. Oh, the sun is right there. It's gonna be a little tricky to see. It's very modernist. Look at the red of these trees. It's gorgeous. And of course, got to visit the turkeys one last time. You can hear them cluck. Or those maple trees, the really red ones. Oh my god, they're moving together. Migration is commencing. Okay, I'm just going to play poker with the boys. Yeah, the entire herd of turkeys are all sharing one brain cell. But hey, somewhere in the lineage of those turkeys, one of them decided, two of them maybe, decided to come into this fenced-in place where there's no natural predators, and they just live here now. That was a pretty smart decision. Oh, thank God, I still see my bike. Hallelujah. I have not been sacrificed to the bike theft gods. You can see a lot of these are more recent people. So people are asking about, like, how come all these markers are so huge? These are all from people that are much more recent. So I don't think people are as into, like, lavishly spending on big elaborate memorials like we've seen, which I think is totally cool. I want to be cremated And I'm not having children, so I probably won't have anyone to even have to think about what to do with any of that stuff. So whoever cremates my remains, just on your way back home from work, just toss it out the window. I don't care. Just leave it somewhere. We have a helicopter going on. It went behind the trees, hard to see. Okay, anyway. Get one last look at the chapel in the distance. Yeah, toss my remains in the Mississippi. That's about right. Damn, look at how orange this tree is. Beautiful. There's also a lot of construction going on here right now. They're building a visitation center or something like that. Alright, chat. While you look at this, I'm going to get on my bike and I'm going to take you for a ride. But it's going to take a sec to get it set up, so enjoy security dude's truck sitting over there and the orange tree. Jealous how walkable my city is? Hell yeah, that's why I'm still here. It is very walkable and bikeable. We have we're like second in the country when it comes to total amount of bicyclists. And I donated my car when I moved downtown, and I've only felt like, dang, I need a car. Maybe 3 or 4 times in the almost 9 years that I've lived down here. It's just, there is a lot of public transit, yeah. So I either walk, bike, or bus everywhere I go. And I still walk in the winter, and I just have proper gear for it. Like, it made a really big difference to get, I know it sounds dumb, but when you dress really warmly, the winter just doesn't bother you. And not having to worry about a car, especially with like auto theft getting higher than ever before. Not having to worry about that, and also being able to bring my bike in my apartment so I don't have to worry about it getting stolen at night. And we have multiple trains. Yeah, like Sigma says, we have the light rail. And they're building a new light rail line to expand even further. There's the lesser known North Star train that goes all the way up to Big Lake. But that only leaves like once a day or something like that. Yeah, the Minnesota Tourism Board should like sponsor my streams. Good Foley sounds, lots of clangs, clicks and jingles, a jingle for every occasion. Yeah, I just need 37 individual locks. Did you miss the tour? Oh, the morgue tour. Well, you can't actually get into the morgue. That is closed on Sundays. I thought religious stuff was always open on Sundays. Apparently not. Okay, chat, I'm gonna have to move you. This is very experimental. I've never done this before. Gimbal's turning off. Yeah, but now we're gonna move. We're gonna fly. You're gonna see my hand. Please don't clone my fingerprints. Okay. Then man, I sure could use a friendly conversational IRL assistant. But life isn't always fair like that. Completely voluntary assistant. Get a ghost to hold the camera. Yeah, there's only like 150,000 of them. Or a turkey is more likely, yeah. Chat. Don't be alarmed by the appearance of this, but I didn't get a chance to use this. I thought originally it was going to be to clamp it onto like a bench or something, but we ended up moving a lot more than I thought, so. But future streams. Kind of funny is that anytime I IRL stream, I leave my own stream open in my apartment with like the audio coming out of the speakers. So it's like, I don't know, just weird to think that my voice is being sent into my empty apartment right now. Just kidding, it's not actually empty. Please do not rob. If I had a pet, or if I had a pet, I would have an excuse, that's true. I mean, I love animals. I grew up with 3 dogs, and lots of rats, hamsters, mice. We had a bird, parakeet, budgie actually. So I love animals, but when I live on my own, I just don't want a living thing to be fully dependent on me. If it's someone else's pet, that's a different situation, but just me on my own, it's just kind of a scary thought to me that this living thing is there waiting for me. And if I don't get back home or something like that, then it's like it's out of luck. Looks like red scaffolding, yeah. Yeah, there's a construction going on here on the weekdays. Sorry, it's just taking longer than I thought to get this all together. My logo is so faded, you often don't realize that I've gone online. Yeah, it's a secret, subliminal, monotonous stream. Perpetually in a state of stream and unstream. Unstreams are things that you haven't experienced yet. One more thing. Guarantee that the wind is going to be deafeningly loud when I'm on the bike, so I'm preemptively going to put the windscreen mic on right now, so your ears are going to tickle a little bit in kind of a weird way when I plug this mic in. Actually, I gotta find a place to attach it to my bike. Like I said, this is new territory to me. I've never really officially attached a phone to my bike before. I have proper equipment for it. Okay, first of all, I'm plugging you in, chat. Okay. One thing I'm gonna say, and this sounds kind of creepy, but you know what? Sometimes weird opportunities show up. But there's been this attractive, nerdy girl sitting on a bench, just waiting there, like, I don't know, 100 feet away from here, who's been looking over here the whole time I've been putting stuff on my bike. If you happen to be watching the stream right now, you should just come over, say hi. Totally cool. If not, you'll never hear this, and no harm done. You never know. Although, wouldn't it be amazing if they're in chat? They're like, oh, I saw your streaming, and I was like, I guess that would technically be stream sniping, so I don't know. If you're nice, it's okay to stream snipe. I can't take the shot. I think she's just waiting for a ride. Oh yeah, you're gonna hear some ding. Thirsting over a tree? No. There's just been an interesting woman sitting on a bench nearby here that's been looking over here as I get stuff on my bike, kind of behaving like she wants to talk or something, but I don't know. Classic sad nerdy guy situation is like, oh, she's trying to talk to me, and then you go talk and they're like, oh no, awkward, and then everyone feels worse, and then you go home. Anyway, here is the windscreen microphone. You should now hear things very different. Chat wanted to say hi. Okay, so this is going to be weird. I think... First of all, can you still hear me, chat? Like when I talk right here, can you still hear me? Yes? Okay, cool. It's an external microphone. There's something very distinct about the way that this person looks. Something that they would be very aware is very distinct about their appearance. If they really are in chat, you should say what that thing is about the way you look. Oh no, I think her ride showed up. She's leaving. Oh my god, she's carrying a big skeleton. Such is life. I can't really think of anything more attractive than carrying a giant, comically large skeleton sitting on a bench in a beautiful cemetery on a cool, fall, breezy evening. Hey guys, this is my life. Lots and lots of missed opportunities because of social norms, awkwardness, and such. Okay, the microphone isn't really staying. No, I appreciate you guys trying to convince me to go and talk to her. I don't think it is backseating. And she's officially gone. Okay. But hey, there's just some dude on a cell phone over there. Just go talk to him. Be like, hey, did you see that girl with the big skeleton? Wasn't she cool? Honestly, I should have at least, because I need to do like a U-turn on my bike to get over there. I should have at least swung around that way and just be like, hey. Yeah, should have been like, who's your friend here? Is your skeleton friend single? And she'd be like, yeah, I guess. And then I like strap the skeleton to my bike and just leave with it. Okay, this microphone is not wanting to stay on the bike. Gamify the stream, let chat vote on things that I do. Oh, that wouldn't go badly. Oh my god, this microphone, I swear. Apologies for the troubleshooting. Anyone that watches IRL streams knows that if you think technical problems are tough when you're streaming and sitting on your computer, now imagine just doing it when you're standing outside alone, trying to troubleshoot stuff while also watching your surroundings. I'm a very paranoid person. I'm always looking around. Hello there, Hoffer. Welcome. Okay. Now, the biggest hazard, and I hope this isn't foreshadowing, is I have a dangling USB cable that is keeping the phone charged. And I swear to God, if that cable comes loose and gets stuck in my bike and causes me to flip over, I'll be sad. Will you marrow me? Ha ha ha. I did actually give a swab donation for potential bone marrow donations, which is a big, crazy process. But I never got matched with anyone, so I didn't have to donate marrow. This was a long time ago, so I don't think the thing is around anymore. Or is still valid. Alright, skeleton girl, maybe we'll meet again. Maybe I'll see her at the Bare Bones. Okay. So here we go. Chat on a bike. Let's see, what does it look like from this view? Hey guys. Yeah, I'll bike and it'll just be this. I think you want to see in front of me. I can read you guys, but I will be taking priority over not hitting cars. So, I'll glance at you guys every once in a while. Just can't keep my eyes off you, chat. That's how it is. Chat, can you still hear me? With all the wind and the sounds of my bike? And the shakiness and the dings? You can, wow. So beautiful over here, holy crap. So busy out right now. This is actually the lake. This is Lake Makaska. Excuse me. Just stopping a little bit to check in, make sure this is going all right. Yeah, formerly known as Lake Calhoun, it's now Bida Makaska. It was renamed. Tiny bitrate drop.
It's not a documentary. It's like a.
Just reading you guys. Okay. Well, look at this lake. Or can I easily take you guys off of here? No, I don't know if I want to disassemble it. Yeah, Mr. Calhoun was a slave owner, and they didn't want him memorialized by the lake, so they changed it. Yeah, look at this view. I'm going to attempt to go around the entire lake as the sun is setting. There's people fishing. Alright, and get back on the road.
No talking.
And we're back. Really read you guys right now, but I'm trying to change the direction of the phone to point towards the sun so we can watch the set as we go all the way around. I need to reposition this bag so it's not hitting my legs the whole time. Another stop. One of my bags just keeps smacking my leg the whole time. It's gonna get annoying. Shadow looked like I was penny farthing for a bit. Wouldn't that be a surprise? Flip the camera around and I have a gigantic mustache. Alright, back on again. Some really cool houses over here. Oh, sorry. Definitely goblins live inside that tree trunk. In a future stream, maybe I'll stop by it, give it a closer examination. There's a bit of a jump scare. I want to see how this looks. Oh God, you can see my pasty arms. A really nice view right here. I want to get a good look at it. Downtown Minneapolis. I'm gonna try something. Let's see. Just reading what you guys are saying. And so, right in the middle there is the IDS Tower, the tallest building downtown. If anyone remembers the Mary Tyler Moore show, the intro sequence was filmed in the lobby of that place. And also the intro to Friends, the fountain that's over here. They filmed the intro to it right up. No, it's Canada. And then next to it is to the right is the Capella Tower, the second tallest, also called like the Saucer Building. And unfortunately, one of my favorite buildings of downtown is the Wells Fargo Tower, but that is being blocked by IDS right now. At night, it looks really cool. It's a kind of a Art Deco design, and and it just glows orange. It has like upward-facing lights all around it. It's really cool. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. Digital zoom. So yeah, that was saying. What happened to my finger? Yeah, IDS. Accenture Tower is a little pyramid one on the right. Over here, I'm not sure what this is. The Target headquarters, I believe, is this one that's halfway down from IDS. The building is almost indistinguishable during the day, because then at night is when it turns its giant screens on, and it has like all kinds of crazy animated stuff. You work for Target part-time, nice. Yeah, Nicollet Mall, it's called. What direction am I facing? I would be I'm on the southwest side of the lake, facing northeast. I was gonna say, can you hear the church bells? But there's a lawnmower that's louder than everything else. Okay, I'm gonna try a different lens. This is another thing I wanted to test. Thought it was an airplane. That's a giant riding lawnmower. Well, the first thing, which I cannot leave on the bike while moving, is I have a telescopic lens. Really hard to get aligned.
Unless they hurt themselves.
Here, I'll take you off. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Okay, well, that one isn't going to be very useful while I'm on a bike, but I have that. I'm going to use it during the bare bones thing to get closer views this Saturday. But then I have a wide angle lens, so I'm going to try biking with the wide angle one on, is the main thing I wanted to test. All right. Here we go. So now we got a wide angle. Here's a before and after. Here's before and after. It's going to be a little blurry on the edges. Swear to God, if this lens falls off while I'm riding, I'm going to sheep. Okay, so, oh, hey, Zot, thank you for the follow. Also, yeah, thanks for the follows earlier. Thank you for the resub, Miss Moths, legendary streamer, very kind person, little funny sometimes, if you know what I mean, a little funny. And Hexen for the resub, and Ardvin for the follow, Heelburb for the follow, Zot for the raid. I hope you and Bailey had a good time with your Halloween stream. I tuned in for a little bit of that. And also Rilo for the follow. testing out a wide-angle lens and about to go riding. So here we go. Crying out loud. I swear, this bag keeps falling off. We almost actually started going. Alright, screw it, I'm just going to attach it to my backpack instead. Okay. The thing is about biking is that if something is a little bit annoying when you start, it's only going to get exponentially more annoying the longer you go. So you got to take care of it early. And I think people can still hear me. I have a windscreen on the external mic. Nice. I can only glance at chat, so I see the 3 letters of YES, so that's good. Accidental ding. Oh God. Never thought I would be passed by someone on an electric skateboard. Guy is going easily 15 miles per hour. Seems incredibly dangerous. Adjust this. The secret to IRL streaming is knowing that every IRL stream is secretly a troubleshooting stream. Oh yeah, hello Anundio, and just looking at everyone else that joined. Alright. Or should I say Cześć Anundio? That's my horrible pronunciation. And Privyet rolls off the tongue so much better. But здравствуйте. Привет. Как дела? Oh, I see why it's so loose. That's what he said. For crying out loud. I'm tightening like 40 different things. Oh my god, we have an authentic Polish conversation happening in chat right now. I'm so glad. It's still gonna be wobbly no matter what. It's just because it's attached to my bike. And I was using a gimbal earlier, which made things way smoother. But I do not want to attach the gimbal to my bike, because the bike will like destroy all of its little motors. Chat, I also have another option that might switch to in a bit, is I can mount the phone to my chest, which should make it a little more stable. But I wouldn't be able to change the direction that it faces, like this. Oh, this place just opened up recently on the right. wish I could stop the rubbing sound you guys are probably hearing. Next time I stream with my bike, I'm gonna have to like attach this bag to my bike so it doesn't have to like dangle on my legs. If you're enjoying the sound of my freewheel clicky-clacking. Okay. I'm going to free you guys. You're going to hear normal again. Yeah, this isn't quite the place where I started. And sorry, there's a nearby goblin cave. You can probably hear the screaming. Swear I didn't want to point this at me. I'm trying to tighten the thing. Why are you so wide angle, chat? How about now? Can you see more clearly? I'm not quite where I started. I'm pretty close. The thing is, like, when you're on a bike, you end up making so much more ground than you realize that you're making. See chat over here. There's a lifeguard chair. There's a couple sitting up there sharing the chair. That could be us, chat. Throw us into the water. I could, but I also leave a PayPal link with a bill for like $1,200. Yeah, chat, maybe the skeleton girl earlier, I'm convinced she was actually just part of my imagination. It was the physical manifestation of chat, put there to make me feel like I have company. Guess that's all that chat really is. The illusion of company. It's not to say that it's not valuable, but you know, we kind of live in a superficial time where friendships and everything are further away than ever before. The internet brings us closer to people who you never would have normally talked to if it wasn't for the ability to connect to them. But just like anything like that, you always, well, I get this anyway, you get this feeling where the more you like people on the internet that you meet, you start to feel worse simultaneously. It's like if you start in the middle, and then positive things are to the right, negative things are to the left. So the more you start liking something, the worse you feel. Kind of embodiment of that feeling of like, oh no, I'm growing attached. Oh no. When you know in reality, all these people that you meet online, friends and all that, you'll never meet any of them most likely. It'll always just be text on a screen. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. But at the same time, I can't think about what would I do without the internet, without that ability to meet new people. Can I point to the city buildings? The skyline isn't really visible. We got these. Here, I have a chance to use my telescopic lens. Just this. God, this thing keeps getting loose. Yeah, Skelecorgi, that is really inspiring. I know it is possible, but it's just like, I don't know, I've had so many situations in life where it's just like, just learn to not get attached to people that I meet online, because it just usually is like never plausible to ever really meet them, so I just kind of stay relatively distant. And it can hurt. It just kind of feels like, I don't know. Everyone knows in my streams I talk about how I've like, lived alone for so much of my life and everything. Now I'm 35 and still the same situation. Had a lot of relationships. Well, 3, it's not much, but so I know it's possible. It's just very hard. Like I always say, it's like a battle between you either meet people in person where you can actually physically hang out together. It feels real. They feel like a real person. But chances are very low that you have anything in common other than like superficial, like, hey, we live in the same city, and that's about it. And that was kind of my most recent relationship. We had great chemistry, got along really well, but we just kind of ran out of stuff to talk about. Like conversation, having interests in common is like the most important thing for me. And we just kind of went separate ways because we were like, well, we don't share any passions. We sit down and enjoy being physically together, but it's just like, then what? And then you meet people online, and it's like, oh, we have so much in common, but people we meet online usually are as far away from you as possible. And then you can, most likely will never meet them. Not impossible, but most likely not. So you're like, you gotta like choose one or the other. Yeah. Just reading back on chat. That's what dating is for. Yeah, I mean, of course. Like, you get to know people, and a lot of people I think are just bad at describing themselves. So if you're using dating apps and stuff, a lot of times it's that they don't know how to describe themselves. So you probably really do have a lot in common, but it's just like, I don't know, it gets to be so tiring. I mean, not that I really even have an option to date. I mean, I'm using like 5 different dating apps, and I usually don't get a response to like dozens that I send out, that I've just kind of started not sending much out at all, because it's like not, I don't know. Yeah, and people are kind of just comfortable being distant on the internet. Like, some people can feel fully satisfied never meeting people that they talk to or whatever. There's a lot of other people around me. People are probably overhearing me being like, wow, look at this loser. But it just always comes up on my mind when I'm out enjoying the scenes. Lots and lots of couples. And then there's me. Hey, the lifeguard chair is open. I should go sit on it. Lights are starting to turn on. Distance looks nice. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't see downtown from this view. Downtown is technically like way over there. There probably is a better view, but there's a lot of people in this area. I don't want to be sitting in a weird secluded place while I'm distracted like this, because it will probably be dangerous. so you guys can hear. Okay, audio is back. All right, awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys for letting me know. I don't know why it did that. Hopefully the VOD will still be together. Because it has a 90-second. What do you call it? It'll hold everything up for 90 seconds, so that it doesn't split the VODs up. I mean, I'm starting to end the stream anyway, and you know how that goes. So the last thing I'll do is I'm just going to ride a bit on the Greenway, and it's getting dark. It's actually not as dark as it looks on stream right now, but I want to see how this looks on when I check the VOD later. I'm going to get my lights on. But we're going to visit the cyclist highway. I want to see how busy it is. Just have to screw some things in. Was there another raid at some point? Thanks for the follow, Friendship Simulator. Extremely relevant name to the last 30 minutes of the stream. Oh, and thanks for the resub audio. Much appreciated, fellow Minnesotan. All right. Yeah, I'm very close to where I live, so I'll be good. I know this area well. So just gonna ride a bit on the Greenway and then call it a stream. Oh yeah, you guys need to go into windscreen mode. Alright. I don't feel like getting the wide angle lens back on, so it's just gonna be regular mode. Hopefully not as wiggly. I shall protect you all from the wind. Magical. Kind of have to go slow right now because this is a one-way bike path, so I'm going slowly on the pedestrian path to not run into other cyclists head-on. but I only have to go a short while until I can turn off to a different route. Hope you enjoy the clicking of the free wheel. Didn't have time to stop and explain why I'm on the wrong side. So I'd rather go slowly around pedestrians that I can avoid rather than another cyclist thinking that we're going the right way really fast. Take a look at Uptown. Wait. 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 Wait.
Lake Street. Walk side is on the block.
Can't believe the voice doxed the fact that I'm on Lake Street. Who would have thought a road right next to lots of lakes is called Lake Street? Unreal. Sorry, turning a blind corner. You don't let people know. Brings back memories though. I used to do so much riding at night before the pandemic, before, I don't know, things changed, and before this bag is dragging against my leg, probably making loud sounds into the mic. So nostalgic to be riding along a path with leaves, or hearing the leaves crunching like this. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I love it. It's just such an incredibly nostalgic time of year. This feels great to be on. Big apartments. Look, I think because it's the camera's white balancing on the sky, makes everything else darker. I smell someone having a barbecue outside. That'd be a fun thing to be doing. But I don't know, I just barbecue for myself, I guess. That's right, there's construction. If I'm just like, I refuse to believe that this trail is closed, I will not stop. Sudden civilization. Restaurants. Yeah, when it's this dark, I'm glancing at chat, but I really can't look at it much. Because gotta be ultra aware. Because one of the scariest things while being on a bike is another cyclist who has no lights on their bike, because they'll be invisible until it's too late. Because like having lights on your bike is more about being visible to other people than it is having you illuminate the road in front of you. Excuse me, on your left. Thank you.
Not the insurance.
I had my freewheel replaced pretty recently. I've never had it be this loud before. It's hard to get used to this clacking being this loud. Of course, because it's so dark, you won't be able to see it, but this is where the construction of a new train line is happening. There's railroads being placed to the right here. I am all 4 trains, all 4 of them. four trains. Oh, now you ding. Hold out on that ding. I have to muffle it with one of my fingers because otherwise every bump I'll go over, it will ring. Let it go. My whistles echo off the buildings. Stroking sounds intensify. That will definitely be fixed the next time I stream. Oh yeah, thanks for the warning about the car, chat. Appreciate it. Just saw it now. Oh my god, I'm just gonna like hold this bag. Oh great, now my knee hits it. Great. Oh, now you can see the tracks on the right. Maybe. If bitrate permits. Trying to get to a place to stop, and then I'll stop the stream. Wow, this is just construction. Oh, here we go. Here's a bridge over a highway or a busy road. I don't think this bridge existed a few days ago. I have no memory of this. In before I just bike off the edge. Is this bridge finished? Well, it is. Okay, cool. Ding. Not quite an EverQuest ding. When you ding in EverQuest, you ding really hard. You can feel it in your neck. This is just a light ding. All right. By the way, I'm not even in Minneapolis anymore. Let's see. Sorry, my nose is running. Kind of an interesting view, I guess. I escaped the city. Just reading back what you guys are saying. Yeah, new bridge just dropped. Sniffle, sniffle, sniffle. Sniffle is such an unnecessarily cute word. Like, oh, I'm sniffling. Yeah, lots of airplanes going over. This is a very weird bridge. You guys can't really see it. Huh. Alright, well, if I go too much further, I'll be in completely unknown territory in the dark. Reading back. All right. Yeah, no grill to grill with. Grill the grill. The flickering light is a spooky vibe. It is. All right. I would normally find someone to raid, but I cannot be arsed to be worrying about that when I am here, middle of nowhere at night. So I won't worry about it. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone that watched my stream. Just want to say really appreciate people that show up to watch this bumbling dude not talk to potentially interesting nerdy person that was also at the cemetery, but next stream, if I feel like it, I might just do an entirely daytime bike stream to look at more stuff. But I'm also feeling like maybe, I don't know, I'll see how I feel. But for sure, 28th at 6 Central, US Central, big Halloween show. Is really big, like hundreds of people. There's going to be fire. There's going to be stilts. There's going to be huge puppets, live music, Ava Mendez, custom, and it's going to be really cool. I'm going to stream the whole thing. So the 28th, 6 Eastern. Yeah, when I look back at the VOD, chat is going to be really out of alignment with the rest of the VOD because of like disconnects and stuff, but here, I'll let you. I wonder if you can even see me. No, you can't. What if I do this? Oh God. Tch. I don't want to see me anyway. It's not worth your time. Alright. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks again. Enjoy whatever's going on. Oh, I have Vinny in like an hour or so. Head over to Mr. Sauce's chat. I'll probably be there. Bye.